You're good, Bill.
Okay. We are right here. Sounds so loud from here. Okay. All right. So it is our honor to be involved with the celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. And we are privileged to have two speakers tonight on that, which you will meet in a few minutes. We have Andrea Flores Mendoza and her husband, Jim Bacon, who are here. Actually, that Jim will be translating for his wife. She doesn't really need the translation, I can tell, but anyway, anyway. So anyway, but they will discuss that their experiencing arriving and living in Hammonton, marrying, raising two children, and becoming super involved with the community, which is a great thing. Jim is going to speak first. He is from Peru, graduate of Hammonton High School. He's employed in the financial industry by TD Bank and will relate his role in Leadership Business Resource Group and with the company. And locally that he contributes greatly to Main Street and with his ability to have the Hispanic community connect with the community. He too is a poet. His wife, Andrea, is from Honduras. She is also a poet and an entrepreneur, a mother of two, of course, a volunteer and a contributor to the Hammonton Arts. So with that, I give you first Jim, who will speak first.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak about our immigrant story in Hammonton. I know I don't look like a Jim Bacon, more like a Jose Rodriguez, but yes, that's my name. Actually, my full name is Jim Paul Bacon, which I always get the look. It's like, who did you kill over there to that name? But I came here to Hammonton in 2001 from Peru with my parents, my dad here present, and it was a very, very tough decision. I was 15. I had finished high school in Peru and was already going to college. And I had two options.
Step over that way. There we go. Yeah. I'll move this over too. I'm sorry. Getting feedback. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I had two options: either stay and go to college in Peru and see what I can make out of life there. Not a lot of opportunities back in 2001. Peru was going through a lot of politic issues and troubles. Or come to the U.S. and the land of opportunity like they presented to me. I was lucky to make the decision to come here and arrive to this wonderful town of Hammonton. They welcomed me, and I assisted and graduated from Hammonton High School here. And 22 years, here I am. Father of two, married. I work for TD Bank in the finance industry. I have also support my wife with her businesses and her artistic side of writing poetry. She has published 3 books, and I have the honor to have helped her with just one. So that a little bit about me and like quick intro. And I met my wife in 2015. She lived in Edison, and she was a hard worker immigrant up in Edison, working in a restaurant like many Hispanic here in town as well. And I was living in Sicklerville at the time. And when we formed a family, I decided to come back to Hammonton because I knew of how safe it is, how good for families has a good reputation, good schools, and obviously it was a good place for us to raise our children. We have two different experiences, or different perspectives. Mine coming from Peru with a green card from the beginning, and having the blessing and opportunity to be able to go to high school, and after high school go to college. And my wife coming on a visa, and like tourist visa, and staying, just try to find a job and work, not able to go to college because of her status. So two different perspectives at two different times. I arrived in 2001, like I mentioned, and my wife arrived to Hammonton in 2018. So about 17 years in between. And definitely we saw, at least I can see a difference in the town, in our demographics, the number of people, the diversity within the Hispanic community. So I don't know the level of knowledge on the Latin America countries that you might have, but just like a quick majority in the US is from Mexico. And most people relate any Hispanic to being of Mexican descent. They are the majority. Then followed by Central America, all of the Honduras. My wife is from Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. And then comes South America, which has the smallest percentage in the US. Many people starting from Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, Ecuador, very small amounts of like people from Chile, which is very south, in Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and all of them. There is some population from Brazil that they don't speak Spanish, they speak Portuguese. So in the Hispanic community, when I arrived in 2001, like I mentioned, I went to high school and I went to ESL, English as a second language, because I knew very little English. Luckily, the languages were very good for me and I was able to pick it up and then move on to regular classes. But in those ESL classes, it was 80% Mexican, a couple of people from Puerto Rico that didn't really speak English, and a few other countries, other nationalities. And I can see that the Hispanic population outside ESL classes was very small. I'm talking about maybe 10%. And this is 2001. Now coming back in 2018, I do see a larger population. I see the benefits of like the second generations, lots of business owners. We have, we have pride in having a lot of Mexican restaurants here. They're really good and well accepted by the community. And, that's just one example, because we have landscaping businesses, barbershops, and many other businesses from our Hispanic community that contribute to the town. And their children are now in schools, and they make, I believe, between 30 to 35% of the population in the school system. So again, a difference between 2001 and 2018. Coming from Peru with a green card gave me the opportunity to go to college. I finished and went to Stockton, where I graduated in 2008, and started working in corporate America. Again, blessed, and continue my education. I got my master's degree. All of it because I had a green card status, which allows you to do that. But I also know a lot of people in town that went to school with me that did not have that opportunity because they did not have a green card. They were on a different status. And what they have to do is just try to make living in some odd jobs, or try to create their own business. And I do see them around town, and I'm so glad that they stay in Hammonton, because they're contributing to the community as well, running small businesses for our community. So my wife has that experience because she did not have a green card when she first came. and she struggled a lot. You see her standing here, so beautiful. But I know the stories walking to work like an hour, back and forth, going from home to work, living in a basement with no bathroom, with many other people in the house, suffering the storms. If you remember 2008, 2012 snowstorms, walking out there, not proper shoes, not proper jacket. I know all of this because she wrote in her book and I edited. So I know all the details and the sufferings. And just like my wife, there's many people that go through that. That, it's a sacrifice, but they do it because there's an opportunity in the U.S. and there's an opportunity in Hammonton. On her status, she was still able to continue to write poetry. She wrote a book in Honduras very young before she came to the U.S. and she's done 2 more now in the U.S. She writes Spanish poetry, and that's how we connected, because I write Spanish poetry as well. Here I am with a green card, speaking English, going to high school, college, master's degree, and I wasn't able to publish a book. With all of that, my wife barely finished school in Honduras, didn't go to any school here, no high school, no college, no master's degree, barely knowing the English language, and she published 2 additional books here in the U.S. So you can see the different perspective again, and how we connected over poetry. And that's another reason why we love this town so much. My wife, I have a presentation, I'm not even clicking on this. I'll show some pictures that will help give you an idea. This is pretty much what I've been talking about. Those are the 3 books that my wife had published. I only have 1. She's winning so far. She has 2 businesses. I have only 1 consultant business. She's doing great. We both volunteer and started in Hammonton and contributing to the community in the Hammonton Health Coalition, something that is still exists and is helping promote the different benefits of being in Hammonton. Hammonton has, from nature, from the diversity, from the restaurants. And the first thing that we did, as you can see, is become connectors with the Hispanic community. And my wife has a really great story there because she found her talent, that is connecting with those that need help. She did a fantastic job of keeping communication with different people, especially through the pandemic. The Hammonton Health Coalition got activated in 2019, 2020, and through the pandemic, we supported those families that were in need, out of work, out of food, no help in getting assistance, getting vaccines, and education about the coronavirus. So we were very active through the pandemic, and that's how we got to connect with the community and got to know very different people in town that help us continue to be contributors to Hammonton. Hello? There you go. Good. So I gave you in a nutshell a summary of a little bit of my story, and now I'm going to give the opportunity to my wife to share her, because I think it has a deeper meaning, a more profound emotion into her story. There you go.
Thank you for giving this opportunity for share a little bit about me. I'm going to speak in Spanish, and my husband is going to Spanish. No. Ok, como decía mi esposo, soy centroamericana. de un pueblo muy pequeño, rodeado de montañas, calles de piedras y de mucha naturaleza, de mucho cultivo y mucha ganadería.
She is from Honduras and from a small town of just about 1,500 people and surrounded by mountains, a lot of vegetation and dirt roads.
Nosotros cultivábamos nuestros propios alimentos. Algunas veces acompañaba a mi papá a sembrar maíz, frijoles.
They cultivated their own food. They had a small farm, and many times she helped her father go to the farm to do odd tasks.
Y esas cosas tan simples me hacían muy feliz. Muchas veces, todos los días mi mamá cocinaba. Yo todos los almuerzos le llevaba a mi vecina de 80 años.
So all of those small tasks in the farm made her really happy. And her mom cooked every day, and every day she will bring food to a neighbor who was 80 years old.
Platicábamos muchas veces con ella y eso me gustaba porque conocía mucho de su historia, de la historia de ella. Ella guardaba un pan que era hace 80 años, lo guardaba porque su sueño era alimentar a sus nietos de ese pan.
She loved going to her neighbor, bring her food, because she will sit down and talk with her about many different things, her way of thinking. This old lady kept a piece of bread from many years. I think she said 80, but I think she's exaggerating a little bit. But she had bread from a very long time that she kept just to be able to feed her grandchildren in case, they run out of food.
Habían rumores de que en Norteamérica se podía cumplir los sueños y sacar a los hijos adelante. Así que una tarde yo estaba jugando bajo la sombra de un árbol de ciruelo.
So news came that in the north, in the U.S., there was a lot of opportunities and you can make your dreams come true and provide a better future for your children. So one day she was playing out in the back by a tree. I don't know the name of a fruit, but it's a tree where they collect the fruits from.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Y mi papá se acercó con una mochila negra, arrodillándose ante mí, poniendo en mis manos un dulce de todos los colores.
And that's when her father came back with a black backpack. He kneeled in front of her and gave her a piece of candy of multiple colors.
Y mientras sus labios temblaban, él me decía, me tengo que ir y pronto nos volveremos a encontrar.
And without knowing what to say, he managed to say, I have to leave, we will reconnect soon.
Para esa niña era muy pequeña, no entendía, era una palabra nueva y no sabía cómo sentirse. Sentía que algo se desprendía de ella y no sabía el qué.
She was a little girl when this happened, and it was a new feeling. Words she did not understood at the time. He was saying goodbye, but it was the first time this was happening to her. The word goodbye felt as if they were taking something away from her, and she didn't know.
Pasó el tiempo y mi abuela nos cuidó. A mí me gustaba mucho escribir y expresar mis sentimientos por medio de la escritura, de la literatura. Fue así entonces cuando fui descubriendo mi talento de expresar, de escribir.
So she was raised by her grandmother, and in her she found the opportunity to express herself with words, and she started writing. That's how she got into poetry.
Al comienzo fue muy difícil porque tuve que lograrlo yo sola y fue así como pude publicar mi primer libro.
The beginning it was really hard, and she didn't know how to, but she managed to publish a small book of poetry. The first one there, it's probably 40 pages long, that somebody offered to print for her.
Luego con el tiempo viajé a Estados Unidos, llegué al pueblo de Edison, donde había muchos edificios, trabajaba mucho en restaurantes. Me sentía perdida porque había mucho ruido de los automóviles, sentía que no había paz.
So later on in life, she got the opportunity to travel to the U.S. She arrived to Edison, a town filled with large buildings, lots of roads, many cars. It was noisy, and she felt lost in so many things that were happening over there.
Pero cuando conocí a mi esposo y nos mudamos para Hammonton, fue como encontrarme con aquel pueblo que yo había dejado en mi país.
And then the magic happened. She met her wonderful husband. I'm just translating.
I think you're adding one.
I swear, that's what she said. So when we decided to arrive to Hammonton, and it was a big difference. She found the small town that she left back in Honduras. It smelled like a farm, and that's a good thing.
Podemos salir a caminar con mi esposo y mis hijos,
We can go out for walks, with the children,
sintiéndonos a salvo y abrazando los grandes árboles.
and we feel safe every time we do that. We're able to enjoy the trees, give them a hug.
Siento que volví a ser yo misma.
She feels that she returned to her own self. She found her, the place where she belongs.
Pude así seguir escribiendo poesía, seguir publicando mis libros.
She found the space to continue to write, and especially her poetry.
Donde seguí conectándome con personas, conociendo cuando hubo lo de ayudar a las organizaciones.
Yes, and during our volunteer work in the Hammonton Health Coalition through the pandemic, she met a lot of people in the Hispanic community, and she was able to connect with them.
Hubo un año donde hacía donaciones en mi casa, en el patio de mi casa, y donde venían muchas gentes. Y mucha gente se podía desahogar conmigo, sentía mucha confianza.
When we were distributing food, we had in our garage, we kept many of the donations in there, and people will come to our driveway and just come talk, connect, let some of that pressure out with her, because she was able to have meaningful conversations with them.
Hablaba como con 20 personas diferentes al día y era textos de personas todos los días.
She was in charge of keeping communication with the Hispanic community, with the different people that needed help. And it was like conversations throughout the day through WhatsApp It's an application for messaging, like international messaging as well. But many people use it because you don't need internet, you just need Wi-Fi to connect. And it was about 20 conversations a day with different people, talking about, what they were going through, what they needed, and how the college could help them.
Sentía que ellos se sentían acompañados conmigo y yo también me sentía acompañado con ellos.
She felt accompanied by these people, and they felt there was somebody there for them.
Fui a tener una experiencia en el campo de blueberries, cuando fui a piscar, y pude sentir la conexión con la tierra, la naturaleza, los árboles, la gente que hablaba diferentes dialectos.
So after finding that connection with the Hispanic community, many of them have some level of connection with the farms. Somebody in the family work in the farms, blueberry pickers, and she decided to join them, picking blueberries one season, and was able to learn different stories from them. They not only speak Spanish, they speak a different dialect from their countries. And she one day she worked with them very early in the morning.
Yo no sé si alguno de ustedes ha tenido alguna conexión con algo alguna vez en su vida.
I don't know if any of you have ever had a special connection with something in the town in your lives,
Pero puedo jurarles
but I can swear
que esta conexión que tuve con la naturaleza fue muy grande, tanto así que al día siguiente miraba que los venados se cruzaban frente a mí, miraba tortugas de caparazones amarillos, los pájaros me perseguían cantando.
So after this experience and working in the field in the farms with these people and connecting, eating, on the shade of a tree, she felt something special, to the point that the next day deers were crossed in front of her. She felt like birds will be following her on her walks. It was a very, very special connection.
Y yo no sé si han escuchado alguna vez, pero se dice que en los antepasados las personas cuando tenían esa conexión con la naturaleza, las aves los perseguían y los venados les seguían, y fue lo mismo que me pasó a mí.
There's some people long time ago say that they have a really special connection with nature, to the point that things like this will happen: birds following you, animals coming to you. She had that. It reminds me of like Snow White story, like Disney, right? Like where everything is so great and wonderful.
Cuando te conectas con la naturaleza, la verdad aprendes que no necesitas mucho para ser feliz. Es suficiente estas cosas sencillas.
When you connect with nature, you find and you learn that you really don't need a lot of things to be happy. You can find happiness in the smallest things.
Esta experiencia pude escribirla en un poema donde varias organizaciones aquí en Hammonton me ayudaron, y personas, para que ese poema pudiera estar en la calle de arte.
So after this experience, she was able to write a poem about the blueberry pickers, and this poem can be found in the art walk next to Casiano's and Anata. There's a picture right here with my family next to it. Now you are reading the author of that poem, and it's in Spanish and English for our community to come and enjoy.
Algo también que estoy terminando de escribir mi cuarto libro, y lo cual Hammonton forma gran parte de él.
And she's in the process of writing her fourth book, so it'll be 4 to 1. Right? And Hammonton it plays a big important part in the book.
Fue muy difícil resumir estas cortas palabras para lo mucho que quisiera decir, pero por el tiempo.
Yeah. So it hopefully shared a piece of her story from Honduras to Edison to finding her place in Hammonton, and now being on her way to write her fourth book based on Hammonton and the people of Hammonton. She is connecting with different people that have different talents and writing stories in her new book. So hopefully you get a feel of not only what an immigrant can do by coming here, bring her talent, and how she can contribute. And just like her, there's many other people that are doing the same things here in Hammonton and in the U.S. So she tried to summarize it in this quick, 30-minute presentation. So hopefully she did good.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for the time. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be here. Hammonton has been welcoming us. My wife, we did her third book presentation at Kramer Hall at Stockton Building last year, and it was really welcomed. So being here a year later and still have open doors to have this type of conversations means a lot to us. So want to open it up for questions if anyone has.
Your books, are they translated and then they have it in the library?
No, they're not translated. The first three books that she has and mine are poetry, and although you can translate the words, there's a lot that's lost in the translation, and they're not in the library. If we can get them translated, we would love to donate and have them at the Hammonton Library for sure. If you have any recommendations, have to do that. Yeah. Yes.
Have either of you been back visiting your homeland, and especially Andrea with her father?
Very good question. So I'll give you mine. So again, having the benefit of having a green card, I went back to Peru like probably every year my first 5 years, and then I've been back another handful of times. My wife, on the other hand, since she arrived here, what year was it? ¿Cuándo llegaste? 2008. She went back just 12 years later because she needed to get all her resident papers in order before being able to travel. So it was 12 years waiting to reconnect with her family, her country, her streets.
Pero después de ese tiempo de conectar, no tiene la misma conexión con la familia.
Right, and going back after such a long time, it's a different connection with the family, right? You've been distant for so long that is not different dynamics. She left as a children and she went back as a mother, right? Great question.
Bill?
In the write-up, you spoke in New Jersey and Pennsylvania with TD. Could you explain that a little bit more?
Oh, yes. So I've been working for TD Bank for over 10 years. And for the last 4, I've been one of the co-leads. Within TD Bank, we have our own organization. It's called a business resource group, in which we volunteer, we help develop other people. And the group that I'm in is called Latinos in Leadership. So it's geared towards Hispanic TD employees. And I spearhead the New Jersey PA group for TD Bank. Yes.
Are your
Yes.
children bilingual?
Both of them back there. ¿Hablan español ustedes? Yes. Both fluent in Spanish and English. And just to share a little story that I learned being Hispanic just when I was working with the Hammonton Health Coalition. You spoke that I believe we have Puerto Rican presenters last month. They experienced a different dynamic. They were first Hispanics in the U.S. and the rule was you don't speak Spanish because you don't want to be, put aside just because you're speaking another language. Then you will see that it became kind of like a culture thing. It's like most Puerto Ricans, at least the older generations, that don't speak Spanish. And in the newer generations, you can see a little bit of struggle in learning the Spanish language. Something that is completely different in like the Mexican culture, where they stay together with their culture, their food, and their language. Yes.
Has the, or I guess, how has the diversity within the Hispanic community changed since you arrived here? Is it still predominantly Mexican, or are you seeing a lot of representation from different countries and
Yes.
larger populations?
Great question. So in 2001, like I mentioned, most of them were few Puerto Ricans, majority of Mexicans, and now it is, I would say, Mexicans still the majority, but you can see a large population, or at least a community of people from Honduras, Central America, El Salvador, and now you see sprinkles of other countries. Colombian, which don't think there were many back then. Now you see a lot of Colombians coming to Hammonton, Peruvians. We're here and we're gonna stay. And stay tuned. You're about to try the best food in the world, which is from Peru. I'm working with a business owner that's hoping to open a Peruvian restaurant. So you can see that, we are, it is getting diverse within the Hispanic community. Yes. Yes.
My church, Presbyterian Church, offer classes for anyone. Just walk in, no questions asked.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to pass it on, if people didn't know it,
Mhm.
English to, Spanish community.
Yes, and throughout the pandemic, there were a big help for families, not only with Spanish classes, but providing food donations and other support information for vaccines as well. So, yeah, I think the community learned about the Presbyterian Church in town, and a couple other church that help the community. Go, Eileen.
And when you arrived back, way back when, what were some of the challenges that you found when you first arrived in Hammonton? Like, what were some of the biggest issues that you faced, aside from, of course, being away from your homeland?
At least for me, having access to my food, like food from Peru, not a lot of stores carry items. Now you find them on like at least a small selection of Hispanic items within like ShopRite even, right? That wasn't there before, and there wasn't really a push to translate a lot of things. So you're kind of forced to learn the English, and I think it's more welcoming now, understanding that the Hispanic population that comes to the town and that works in the farms, they're needed, right? The farms need their workers, otherwise won't be able to continue to do well. Yes, I think it was a question for me.
As the Historical Society, is there something that we can do as this society to help with the integration of the Hispanic people here into Hammonton?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I don't think there's a one solution for that. Many organizations probably want to do that. What I say, and that this is just my personal opinion, the best way to do is this. Reach out, connect, and have conversations. Learn a little bit about it, because you'll find a lot more commonality between our stories and the stories that you probably heard in your families when they arrived to different country, and having the sympathy to understand the struggles, as well as the benefits of bringing these people here. So doing this, it's already standing the bridge to make the connection. Not just do it for Hispanic Heritage Month. There are a lot, and I know a lot of contributors to the community in the Hispanic community here in Hammonton. So I can, make connections and try to get them to speak at different events like this. Yes.
Is it important to become a part of the governmental process in Hammonton? I look at, council and the various commissions and committees, and I don't see a lot of diversity on our governing bodies. How important is that to the Hispanic community? And is it important, and are you interested and want to move forward in the governmental body of the town?
Yes. It is funny you asked that question, because I've been thinking about that as well. And I think it goes beyond diversity, because if we talk about diversity, many people understand diversity being like your heritage, your background, the country you came from. I feel like within anybody here, there is diversity. The way you were brought up, either poor, rich, what level of education your parents had, that has diversity. I do think the first step is to diversify with different genders, different country background, different experiences in the political. But at the same time, I feel that we all contribute to the town, to the community, and although it's important to be part of a political group or representation in town, there are other avenues in which you can have a great impact. And the reason I say that is because I learned that through the Main Street program, I'm able to bring in and support the Hispanic community. I'm working on getting more of the Hispanic members involved in programs like the Main Street program or the Hammonton Health Coalition. You see a picture here of some, they're all from Hammonton. They're connectors, and they're doing great things for the community, for the Hispanic community, and for the town as well. So to answer your question, yeah, political, we should see more diversity. However, I don't think that's the only way we can have an impact. One question?
Going through high school, how was it?
I
Freshman, junior, senior,
yeah, I can't.
Any fights?
Yes, definitely fights. A policeman involved and everything. No, I think to me, it was really a different experience. I grew up in Peru, and I watched the Wonderful Years, a TV show that I never thought I would experience, and it was like they grabbed me from Peru and they dropped me in the TV show, because now I see the football players, right? The captain of the team, and the way they act, and the cheerleaders, and all of that, and all the dynamics that to me was completely strange, and like seeing it live, it was amazing. I was a good student. My parents did a great job. My mom over there, my dad over here. they did a wonderful job raising me, and I was always good in school. So I didn't have any fights, but I did have friends that got involved in fights. The differences, right? Just being raised in Peru, and I went to a Catholic school, not because I had money, but because I was lucky enough that I had an aunt pay for my education. So I think that just gave me a different experience in high school. But I was very shy in high school, so I wasn't really well connected, and to the point that I graduated in '04, and I don't have that many friends from that class. I connected more with the younger classes, like the '05 or '06, just because first I didn't speak English to begin with. I started in my sophomore year, and by the time I got to a senior year, it was when I started to go to regular classes, outside the ESL group. So
Any sports?
I would have loved to play soccer in it, but to be honest, I had to learn the language first, then do well in my classes, and I started working to help my family as well. So I had a full time in high school, no time to do sports there. Unfortunately, I would have loved it. No, I play soccer now. Great questions. Yes.
So, like, obviously poetry means a lot to you guys. Why is that the way you guys choose to express yourselves? Like, why is that your medium to do that?
I'll let you answer that one. So, poetry means, la poesía significa mucho para nosotros, obviamente, por los libros que hemos publicado. ¿Por qué es el método que utilizas para expresarte?
Es difícil contestar porque es algo natural que nace del corazón y creo que influye mucho la sensibilidad de las personas. Influye mucho la sensibilidad en cómo absorbes, porque yo tengo la facilidad de poder absorber las emociones de las personas y eso me ayuda.
So for her is a natural talent that she found to be able to express herself, kind of like she feels that she was born with it, and the way she connects with people and how she can put her emotions and people's emotions into poetry is why she decided to use poetry. For me, it's something similar. I going to school. I remember exactly when I started to write. I was like 12, 13 years old. And one of the assignments was to start writing a poetry. Your Spanish class, that was an assignment. And I loved the rhyme and the metrics and playing with the words. And I found it I found myself really inspired in like many poets and from the Spanish. Spanish is different in English. It has a lot more words. There's more grammar that allows you to play with the order of words. So for me, that caught my attention, and since then I started to write pretty much anything that I was feeling I was writing. Good question. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right on time.